Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and this morning I'm looking at a book from the Law Society Publishing. It's one of their toolkit series which is extremely helpful, I think, for anybody in practice. This particular book is called the Complaints Handling Toolkit. It's this one here. We'll have a look at it in a moment. It's the Law Society's Risk and Compliance Service, and it includes a CD at the back. It's been written by Vicky, Ling and Fiona Westwood, who will be known to many of you. Now, my wife Elizabeth and I have written a review of this book, and we've given it the title from the Law Society, Better Complaints Handling for Better Business. We'll have a look at the review in a minute, but let's have a look at this very small, short book. There it is. It's very much the house style for the Law Society, the spine and then the back. You can see there's a lot of information on the back explaining who the authors are as well. There's the CD, which you can see there. There's no index of any sort, so you just have the chapter headings and they're paragraph numbered. You can probably see the paragraph numbering there. At the front, you've got the front main page there. Then you've got, again, another main page and some other toolkits in the series, because there are actually quite a lot of toolkits that are available. And then you have actually 7 chapters in total. You can see them listed there. And they cover the main areas: introduction, regulatory requirements, client care, complaints handling, recording and reporting complaints, training approaches to client care and complaints handling, and sources of guidance and support. Then there's a note about Vicky and Fiona, the 2 authors there. And then there's a foreword, which is very useful, from Pearl Moses from the Law Society, extremely helpful again. And then you go straight into the main text of the book there with chapter 1, and you see the paragraph numbering. There is a little bit of footnoting going on, not very much, and it's very helpful. This piece on the legal ombudsman. It's not a big book. It runs to under 100 pages, around about 100 pages. There are some useful annexes with things like complaint forms, because in this day and age it's extremely important to make sure you have your paperwork in order. Effective written advocacy is the order of the day. The days when we get up and just talk about things are gone, and so we do need to make sure we have our tackle in order, if I can put it in that particular way, that being the fishing tackle allusion. Now, what I'm saying here, and what we've said, Elizabeth and I have said in the review, is that is it not the hope of all legal practitioners that they will wend their way adroitly along a well-rewarded and satisfying career path that is almost entirely devoid of client complaints? Now, when I came to the bar, that's what I thought it was going to be like, because the view was that if people complain, it's for a spurious reason, because the case has been lost and they've got absolutely no justification except for opening a floodgate of spurious complaints. Those days have gone from the year 2000 onwards, and we now have a very different regime. So what we're saying is those who seriously entertain such hopes, can they really be serious anymore, won't see any need to read this book. The fact is you do need it, because people do complain. Those slightly more realistic people, practitioners, however, will certainly welcome this new Complaints Handling Toolkit, which has been recently published by Law Society Publishing. In fact, the toolkit, we think, should be regarded as an essential purchase, bearing in mind that all legal practices must have a written procedure to comply with Chapter 1 of the Solicitors Regulatory Authority Code of Conduct 2012, which ensures that complaints are handled promptly, fairly, openly and effectively. For one thing, fair-minded complaint handling makes good business sense. If you think about it, you can in most instances learn a lot from a complaint, and in so doing create much goodwill, enhanced reputation, and ultimately a lot more business. In an increasingly competitive business environment, competent complaint handling can help you stay one step ahead of the competition, while saving a lot of management time that ordinarily would be spent looking after complaints. And it's an area we're now in a much bigger, much more open way than in the past. The top 3 reasons for complaint, in case you're interested, are excessive cost, failure to follow instructions and delays, and failure to keep clients informed. To this list include delays in general, especially in the processing of paperwork. The toolkit, however, offers helpful assistance in all these areas, many of which centre around clear communication. Primarily, we think, clients want and deserve clear information, clear spoken English, and a clear understanding of timelines. How many cases, for instance, have fallen by the wayside for being out of time? The Limitation Act 1980, and probably those listening to this recording in December 2014 will know that is now the subject of a bit of criticism, because that act is a little bit out of date. It may well be reviewed again when we bring in new computer systems and the way we look at the way we do business in the future. The toolkit, we think, clearly sets out the regulatory requirements, and in dealing with client care offers help in preventing complaints in the first place. Subsequent chapters deal with the details of complaints, from handling them, recording them and reporting them, to training the relevant personnel to deal with them. Both in the printed text and on the accompanying CD-ROM, there are at least 7 templates, including draft policies and procedural checklists, that you can use as it is, or adapt to your own system. I think the final chapter is probably, as a conclusion, the best in some ways, because it gives you a handy list of publications and helplines which provide further assistance by way, effectively, if you like, of a conclusion. All solicitors, we think, whether sole practitioners or those in the largest of law firms, should acquire the book for their law library, and the publication date is actually cited as October 2014, so it's relatively new. Recording this in the December of 2014. There's the front of it again, spine on the back. As I said, it's very light, but the annexes, I think, are particularly helpful. And remember that whilst we are the professionals, there's the CD again, whilst we are the professionals, you do have a huge amount of operational staff who help. There are also some case studies which I think are very helpful too, if you've got a particular problem you might wish to deal with. Anyway, I'd like to thank the Law Society very much for producing this toolkit. The series itself are extremely helpful. They help you with the way that you manage your business, and they help us in this much more heavy, regulatory, complaint-orientated society that we're now in. Don't see any changes from that, because people are paying money and they expect a service for it. And I would think with more information, more intelligent people, being well educated, you're going to get more of this, because people will demand higher services. We offer one of the best legal services in the world in this country, and this book proves that we actually deal with anybody who complains about a particular matter very seriously indeed. And this is the guidance that you've got to help you. So thank you to all concerned, especially to the two authors, Vicky and Fiona. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.